What's going on, Benchwarmers? Welcome back to another episode. And before we kick things off today, had some really depressing news. I'm sure the whole football world knows Maradona has passed away. So before we kick off anything today, we want to kind of just give you our initial reactions as to when we heard it, how we felt, and if it's cool with you guys, I'll just tell you right off the bat. I was at work. I got the update. I think one of you guys texted it right off the bat, and I looked at my phone. Then the update started coming in, and I got like a weird shiver down my spine. It was like this one hit different, It wasn't
Yeah.
like I mean, I don't want to compare, like players and everything, but this one just hit different. Knowing that we grew up on a player like this, our parents loved Maradona, even though he wasn't beloved by all the fans across the world, but we knew what he did on the pitch was magical. And to me, it just, I don't know, man. It was a surreal moment, kind of like another, Kobe situation that we had earlier in the year where he's gone, but it doesn't feel like he's really gone. His legacy is always going to live on. And so that's my piece, man. My condolences to his family, my condolences to the whole Argentinian uh, country, I guess, because they're mourning and they're hurting because Maradona is a god in the world of football. So Maradona, R.I.P. And I'll see you playing up there in the sky one day.
Yo, I saw Pele's post and that shit almost brought me to tears. I think it's one of those situations that you will forever know where you at when the news broke. It happened. I remember with Michael Jackson. I remember with Kobe, and now with Maradona. I know exactly where I'm gonna be, and in the future, I will forever know where is it that I received the news that Maradona had passed. Man, an icon and goat, better than anybody we could think of for his generation. So yeah, it's a huge loss for the world of soccer. But the best way to keep him alive is just by remembering his good things that he did on the pitch. That's what everybody's gonna love him more, is what he did for his country and for the teams that he was part of when he was a soccer player. So yes, RIP to Maradona, and my condolences to his family and to the country of Argentina and the soccer world too, because we're all mourning.
I agree with you.
Well, I guess my only point of view is that it's sad. It's painful to see him go, but honestly, we let him go a long time ago. The latest things that have been coming out about him were jokes, were ridiculous stuff that had been coming
Yeah,
up. And that's the
Unfortunately.
news that the young generation knows right now. But at the end of the day, I heard something from another podcast. They said that he is the flawed hero. He is not Superman.
No.
He is, let's say, your Batman, but that's actually killing people. Like the hero that just goes beyond what's acceptable. He's beyond greater than anybody, but at the same time more flawed than anybody. So it's just someone that I can't relate to for either reason. I was never that good at soccer, but I was also never down the dark path that he was. And yet I admire him so much for what he was able to accomplish, even though with the demons in his closet.
I think that's a great way to put it. That I it was in the morning around, I think around 11:30 ish. I actually had my aunt from Colombia message me on WhatsApp, and there wasn't anything here yet. It was just a few minutes difference, but she was like, "Oh, did you hear? Like Maradona passed away." Like my aunt from Colombia is messaging me about like a former Argentinian legend. And I think that just shows how internationally, at least in South America, he's revered. To have someone completely unrelated, bless my aunt, because she loves the sport. Like I can talk to my aunt from Colombia about the sport, like and not to put it in like an odd like male versus female way, but what you would think someone her age would be interested in other things. She's very much into soccer, so she messaged me right away, and we were talking about it. And then the messages came in to like our chat. Nico from the bench had also sent it in too. He was like, "Oh my god!" And then I started reading all these things. To touch on what Edgar said, I did watch the clip where he talks about la pelota no se mancha. He's talking about like how you can't stain the soccer ball no matter how bad of a person you were. And he was saying this, like he didn't say this in an interview, which is what struck me because honestly, I had not seen that clip prior. Of course, I've seen other stuff from him, but I hadn't seen that clip prior. He said this addressing a stadium full of people, like probably tens of thousands of people, and he admits, he's like, this is after obviously his scandals in the 90s when he got banned for the doping, when he got caught, and he says it straight up to them. He's like, I fucked up. He's like, I messed up and I paid the price, but I cannot stain the beautiful game of soccer. Like that's it's impossible, because it's something that gives you life. And I think the way Maradona gave everyone life was, it clearly showed today, because like Eric said too, even people who may have seen him as a rival, people that may have been bitter because he scored on their teams internationally, club level, whatever. He was someone that, again, like Eric said, even our parents, my parents, told me about, and they saw and they grew up on. So I think it's a big loss, man. I honestly, Kobe levels, it's the same Kobe levels, and an iconic figure for a particular sport. It's a sad loss.
It is, man. It is. And we are going to be doing a little Instagram tribute video. So if you want to catch that, make sure you follow our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Benchwarmers FC1. Marco, we're going to watch our YouTube videos.
You can watch it on YouTube at Benchwarmers FC TV.
Dieguito, we're going to find our podcasts.
On podcasts, they can search us on their favorite podcast platforms and all the major ones, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, by searching Benchwarmers FC.
So with all that being said, I don't want to, just quickly change the tempo of the podcast, but let's try to brighten things up a little bit and bring the banter to the bench, as we always do. So we'll dive into the Premier League action that happened this past weekend, Gameweek 9. We're also going to do what's up?
Are you going to start it up with Brighton?
I was initially doesn't do Chelsea.
I mean, you want to brighten it up, right? You want to brighten it up. Start off with Brighton.
I like that. I go do Brighton Aston Villa. Thank you for that segue, man. That's awesome right there. So
I was hoping you'd catch it the first time around. Come on, buddy.
No whistle.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just emotional right now, but thank you for making me laugh, man. I'm sure the listeners and the viewers are getting a good laugh out of that.
No whistle.
What's up, Marco?
No whistle.
I don't have a whistle on me.
Come on, man. That's never stopped you before. There you go.
Okay. So we have Aston Villa, Brighton. Again, we're going to try to keep this within 30 minutes for you guys. So on your drive home, on your drive to work, before your Thanksgiving meal tomorrow, or if you're internationally, not in the United States, before you do whatever you do, we're going to try to keep this short for you, 30 minutes. Aston Villa, Brighton. This game was a banger. Which one of you guys were able to watch it?
Yeah, I seen it, man.
Echo, you watched it or no? Yeah, man. This game turned out to be more of a, I think, one of the best games of the weekend, to be honest with you. Aston Villa did lose 2-1, but Brighton put on a show. And Aston Villa, how did they not get more than one goal is my question. It boggled my mind. But one player that did stand out to me the most, and I know Diego has been preaching his name, is Lamptey.
Lamptey, dog.
Harsh red card, but the performance he put in that game, that red card should not overshadow his performance. What are your thoughts on the game?
My man is going to get scooped up, man. Lamptey is on fire. But honestly, I got to say Aston Villa, they got something, man. And they could – it's just – I don't get it. They could have won the game, but it's
one of those games.
Grealish is one of those players that he's keeping that team up, man. And everybody just vibes around him. It's just unfortunate he can't do everything.
We were talking about it before, Edgar, like that whole Aston Villa 7-2 win over Liverpool, the 3-0 win over Arsenal. It wasn't a fluke. There's actual beautiful football being played behind those results. Diego, how do you feel about Aston Villa and their current run that they're in?
I think it fails them, because I don't want to get ahead of myself as far as fantasy goes, but if you guys saw Ollie Watkins and the amount of chances that fool gave up, the amount of times that I think they also hit the post too on a few occasions, it was unfortunate that they didn't pick up 3 points against this Brighton team, but it does go to show that the 7-2 win that they picked up against Liverpool was against basically a full strength Liverpool side, and the same goes for even the Arsenal match. It sucks. It sucks that they couldn't show the quality that they have on the scoreline, but definitely they left it on the pitch. And again, my 2 cents about Grealish and Watkins, I think they're an awesome pair. I think they're a phenomenal pair. Losing Barkley so early, I feel like that rattled them a little bit. Honestly, I think that kind of changed the tempo for them, losing someone. And then on top of that, if I'm not mistaken, I think they subbed off the sub. So they put Bertrand Traore, and then they took him off because he was gassed. Really, honestly, I think it was just it was a slip up, and we've seen a lot of teams do that this season. You know, they have one bad match, they have one stumble, and they pick back up in the next games afterward. And I think that's something that we can look forward for Aston Villa this season.
Yeah, Aston Villa are definitely a team to watch. Keep an eye out for them. They're, again, Grealish is probably one of the best midfielders in the league, in my opinion. Mark, I know you didn't watch this game, so I'm not going to bombard you with questions that you're not going to be able to answer. But the next thing we can talk about is Newcastle versus Chelsea. Talk about players giving it up. Timo Werner, when he's not scoring, he's giving up the ball and putting an assist for Tammy Abraham. This Frank Lampard, are we starting to see the Frank Lampard that all these Chelsea fans were excited about?
I'm gonna be first one to say I don't know, man. I don't think so. Not yet. I said this before. They found the defensive formula, but going forward, they still have things to figure out. And the thing is that, again, looking at it from even Werner's side, he did put that slotted, square pass to Tammy, but he could have had quite a few goals himself, and he should have been more clinical with that. They easily could have won this game, probably 3 or 4-0, and that would have said, I think that would have put up a bigger statement about Lampard. Am I being overcritical? Probably. Chelsea fans are maybe punching the air right now, like, oh, I hate Diego, I'm shutting this off. But I'm going to be conservative on the camp where I don't think Lampard has figured it all out yet. I will give him credit, though, because it's another clean sheet. They're without Thiago Silva, and then he's making the most out of Mendy. Like, honestly, I don't even know what Kepa's doing right now. He's probably doing his FIFA 21 career mode or playing Football Manager. And I saw Les Mug also shaking his head, so I'm pretty sure he has maybe the same sentiment.
Okay.
Look, Chelsea's in a good state of form, but at the end of the day, they got to start putting chances away. Timo Werner is looking like he's got some potential. He showed it in the Bundesliga. Now he's got to be consistent with it here. I don't think he's been consistent with it, but until he gets consistency, I'm not going to say that that it's a finished article and it's a finished team. It's still too much up in the air.
So we'll see if what Eddie said about Timo Werner and the noise effect really does come into play, because as many of you know, I think early December fans are going to be allowed to get into the games. I think a maximum of 2,000 fans, which is still 4,000 fans, which is still a question. Something that's being debated right now for a stadium that can hold 6,000 fans. I don't get it. But regardless of the fact, we'll see if the noise presence affects Timo Werner going forward. But that's something we'll look forward to see. The next matchup that we had this weekend was probably like the biggest matchup of the weekend, which was Spurs Man City. Mourinho versus Pep. What a showdown. What a game.
Word.
Mourinho got the best of Pep again. Same way he did at Real Madrid and Barcelona. He did it again from Spurs to Man City. Now, this Spurs in first place in the league, 2-0 against Man City. Dude, this game was I don't even know. It was exciting for me to watch. At the same time, it hurt for me to watch because it's Spurs. But shit, man, what do you guys think about this game? Anybody go ahead. Hey, you're on mute, so I don't know what you're saying right now, bro.
Bro, he's trolling right now.
He's a loss for words. He's at a loss for words right now. That's what's happening right now.
He's choking on the anxiety of Spurs being a good team and taking advantage of Liverpool's form right now. I think that's what's going on.
So let me put out this question for you guys: Is Man City?
I'm sorry. I was choking on my words before. The words that I gave him Mourinho, that he was washed up, that he doesn't know what he's doing.
That was my question.
I had to get something down my throat because honestly, I thought he was done. It's fucking the second year. Every fucking time the second year. So I'm just looking forward to the third year where it all crashes and burns.
I mean, I don't want this. Look, it's 2020, man. Spurs winning the title before the year ends will kill me, but it's not going to happen, of course. But still, is Pep washed? Is Pep football exposed? Is it done?
I want to chime in on that because honestly, yes, the only thing I will say about Mourinho, and I think the only way to enjoy Mourinho this season is his Instagram, because if you guys have seen that, That guy has the perfect personality to be putting up posts and to be bantering people, especially the comment that they're like, "Oh, how do you feel about the fact that they had over 66% possession and they had like 3 times the amount of shots?" And he's like, "They can take the ball home. I'll take the 3 points." And I was like, "Bro, this guy is phenomenal, dude. The freaking banter that he comes up with
You can't make it up.
is perfect. Is perfect." But I am gonna say this: Pep spent, and we joked about it. Pep spent the national defense budget of a small country, and he's still getting blanked by a Mourinho Spurs side. Like we have to address that. We'll give him some leeway. Ake is injured and international break, whatever. But you had Laporte, who looked solid, nothing to do there. He bought Diaz, who has been, I think, questionable since then.
He's been D-ass.
He has. And Cancelo, Zinchenko, Walker, all these people making up his back four, they haven't been effective yet. And then Ederson, bro, I think I ate my words because I thought Son wasn't going to do it. I was like, Son's had a good season. He's about to get exposed. I'm going to be vindicated for saying that he doesn't show up in big games. I will give credit to Josue because he's the only person, of course, as a Spurs fan, he's going to believe. But he was like, dude, he's like, trust Son. He's going to show up against Spurs. And then he's not only did he score, but he slotted the ball between Ederson's legs. Like, he made him look Sunday League on that play. He really did. Like, all credit to that. But I think Pep needs to, bro, the amount of times that rebuild is used with Pep is annoying. Like, they already linked to Grealish because it's part of their midfield rebuild. Like, are you serious? Like, I'll leave it at that because I don't want to go on too long. I think Pep needs to be found out for what he is, and he's just an overspender.
You know what, man? You know what? Just fucking let the Saudis use up their money. Just spend it all out. I mean, that oil money, take it from the rich and give it to the poor. Like all the poor teams that be losing their players to fucking Man City.
For real, man. For real, Marco. You're obviously a Real Madrid fan, and you've witnessed this play out between the Mourinho Pep back in La Liga. Isn't it kind of history repeating itself in the Premier League?
It is, and we're talking about Pep at his glory with the team that he had at the time in Barcelona, and Mourinho was able to get under his skin, and now he's doing it again, but this time with a quote unquote solid team that a Man City is, with all the money that they've spent to build, and it's still not enough. And as much as I hate Mourinho and as much as I hate Spurs, I mean, they came out and they defended because that's all they did.
Yeah, I mean, it worked, man. You see the stats, man. The stats
it worked, bro. Fuck Son, man. Son of a bitch, bro.
Look, the scoreline and the stats don't have to match. And they didn't.
They don't at all. 100%. That's when you know that literally anything can happen. It could be 100 possession, and all you need is one opportunity to score a goal, and they took it. And that's
bro. 4 shots, 2 goals
versus 12-0. I think some shit like that.
Look. Speaking of stats and speaking of one shot, West Brom had one shot to get a penalty against United, but what happened? VAR. We were praising so much this weekend for being used so properly. I mean, I know, Diego, I haven't heard your thoughts on this call yet. Edgar and I, we talked about it already. Marco, I don't know if you saw it, but the penalty that was given to West Brom, then taken back because of a supposed dive or whatever you want to call it. Diego, what are your thoughts on that? Obviously,
I read that they made the decision because who was the VAR official? David Coote, he had deemed that he had touched the ball first, and honestly, it is a very nuanced call that someone is going to make because of their own bias. Like, David Coote used his own refereeing bias, I guess, to make that judgment. That's literally the only thing that happened. And I will say that another ref could easily look at that and be like, okay, yeah, that's a penalty because he also took the player. I think there was a similar, if I'm not mistaken, there was a similar call the same weekend where they had called a penalty, but they got the ball first. I forget the game. And I was like, oh, this could be the same situation where they see the movement of the ball Oh my God, I wish I could remember it. It might have been.
Look,
might have
we
been
all
the
know what you're
Villa game.
talking about. Let's stop talking about VAR. Let's talk about Oli and Manchester United looking like shit.
No.
Bro, I'll talk.
You look
I'll
like
talk
shit.
about them.
Hold on,
I'll talk about them in the fact that
You only got 30 seconds though. You only got 30 seconds.
Before you
Bruno
do
is
that,
literally-
Bruno Fernandes, man, that guy
it's
is.
Bruno FC. It's Bruno FC. Honestly,
Bro.
it's Bruno FC. He is.
Thank God I picked
and
him up.
it's Bruno FC because his numbers, me being a stat troll, his numbers speak for themselves. 34 goal or assist, like direct involvements in 35 matches. It's been a phenomenal return, and he hasn't stopped. Like there was another stat that came out that he hasn't blanked as far as providing a goal and an assist for more than 2 games in a row, and he's been here since January. Since prior to that. So I think, man, it just speaks for himself. The rest of the team not showing up, I think that's an issue. But again, I've said that before already on the pod, that consistency is one thing that I won't stick up for that. Like I can't turn a blind eye to the fact that they're very inconsistent as a team. We see them at their best. We see them play well. They beat this Istanbul, not getting into Champions League like that, but they played Everton, and then they played the game after that as well. They played great, and then they show games where they get lucky, or they get fortunate, or they get Bruno to drag them right across the finish line and get them 3 points. That's literally it. Are they going to be too dependent? I think that's what I'm scared of. That as soon as this guy gets injured, or if he catches COVID, God forbid, or something happens to him, we have some backup with Van de Beek and with Pogba, but he's even making Pogba take a seat for real.
Nah, Bruno Fernandes.
That's what I have to say.
Listen, Bruno Fernandes. Props to whoever your scouting department is for finding that guy and making that move, because he is literally that whole team right now, and it's crazy how impactful he's been, unlike Arsenal's entire attacking side. Almost 8 hours, 0 goals from open play. When you see stats where Humane Son has the same amount of goals as the whole Arsenal team, when you see stats where Bruno Fernandes has more created chances than the whole entire Arsenal team, it makes you start questioning the coach.
All right, so I gotta say something, man.
What's up?
When you show a $50 bill to a whore, her pussy gets wet, right?
I don't know.
I mean, that's how it works. That's a business of that's a business they're in. How is it that you showing up millions and millions of dollars to Aubameyang, to Ozil, to these major players, and they dry up? Their goals dry the fuck up. I mean,
that
some of them
goes
aren't
to
even touching the field.
Point earlier where Ozil got offered that contract, and then Aubameyang follow that same pattern. Now I'm gonna go on a mini rant real quick. I don't want to take up too much time because we are at 7 minutes right now. But
do your thing, man.
When you see those kind of stats, it makes you start questioning the coach. I am 100% behind Arteta. I still have faith in him. It's, mind you, he's a brand new coach. This is his first entire season with no preseason in the middle of a pandemic. Yeah, he's won FA Cup. Yeah, he's won Community Shield, but that's the past. That's not the present, and the present isn't looking good. He did find our solution defensively. As you guys all known, Arsenal have been the most ridiculous defenders in the Premier League. Now we're one of the best. Now we took one step forward and took 5 steps back. And I mean that from the midfield backwards, because we can't go up. We can't attack. There's no attacking threat. This is what I wanted to play earlier. This is why I was asking how to play.
Snap back to reality.
Snap back to reality, Arsenal fans. We are not good. You want to know what we are? Fucking shit. We're fucking shit. We're fucking shit. That's all I gotta say, man. Look, it's still a little early on. I still believe in it at the 100% of the way, but
fair play.
It has to improve, and if we don't see any improvement before this transfer market comes in January, because I do think apparently there's rumors that Stan Kroenke is going to invest in the midfield to back Arteta. If we don't improve before that time, we're not going to get in Champions League, and that is the goal for this season right now. Marco, what are your thoughts on the Arsenal? I know you obviously that's the only game you watched this weekend. I'm sorry to hear that, by the way.
I know, right? Bro, I mean, you said everything, bro. The only thing that you didn't mention was Pepe, bro.
Oh yeah,
idiot self.
That's how bad he was. I don't even want to talk about it.
Exactly. Like you said everything that needed to be said except for the Pepe part, and that's the only thing I'm gonna say. is what a fucking moron.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
As of
Why
right now, he's a
do
flop.
it? A waste of money so far,
Right now, he's a flop, in my opinion.
and that's basically it.
I still think he can step it up, but I think he's a flop right now. But not to talk too much about it. But
let's breathe deep and hope that the next couple of games before the transfer window are at least good enough to bring us up again to the top 10 and see what happens in the transfer window.
we'll see. We'll see if Ozil makes a comeback too. Another game we didn't mention real quick was Everton Fulham 3-2. Calvert-Lewin continuing to score the goals. So if you have him in fantasy, good job. This guy.
Captain.
They're looking pretty solid. West Ham beat Sheffield 1-0. We also have Burnley beating Crystal Palace 1-0. Wolves and Southampton tying 1-1. And the game that we want to save for very last is Liverpool C squad beating Leicester 3-0. I don't get it. You guys
I was pissed off at that, man. I was annoyed.
I think Liverpool C squad because their whole entire is injured.
All right, well, we're recording this on a Wednesday, so I should be happy, but unfortunately I just got the D squad from Liverpool get dicked over by Atalanta, basically Atlanta United at this point. Look, against Leicester, it was just Brendan Rodgers pulling a Brendan Rodgers. He thought he can go to fucking Anfield and slap us around the face like Leicester slapped Man City around, and that's just not what's happening. I mean, he saw our back line like, oh, we're not. They don't have anybody back there. They forget that we have the best utility knife in the league in James Milner, right?
I mean, the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife, whatever. He's not Swiss, so I figured, utility knife. Didn't want to make something
he can do everything fucking in the fucking field apparently, which is fucking annoying.
Yeah, it fits.
I like that. That's true. That's good. That's good. Damn, better words than me. But regardless, Liverpool, you guys take it away. I'm just happy to talk about them and say
I hate when he does that, bro.
No, it's like because we can't say anything bad. Like what do you want me to say?
Bro, I was so ready, bro. I was so ready to freaking dunk on Liverpool, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. I was so ready to dunk on them.
Johnny Evans scores a beautiful header on his own goal. Jota gets a beautiful goal from assist from Robertson, and Firmino, who was unlucky time and time. Oh wait, no. Let me get a header goal. Why not? It just goes their way every single time. And as much as I thought with Van Dijk not being there, that their title chances are pretty much gone. I don't know. I think they're right up there again. I just don't see how this Liverpool team can be so good with so many injuries and still look so convincing against a Leicester. It's not like they're going against somebody else. They're going against Leicester. It's a good team.
Yeah, it's a good team. I think the same, especially with Vardy, who's had Liverpool's number in the past and who's not afraid to score against top sides. They shut him down really quick. They shut him down with Matip and Fabinho, bro. That's the thing here. And I won't say it pains me because I feel like that's really cliche, even though it's true. But some credit has to go to the man management for the players that he does have. Because the way Klopp set up that team in order to have Milner slot in order to let Robertson, letting Robertson go forward and still get an assist in a game where they didn't expect anything, damn, that honestly, I was salty about that. I was like, you guys are supposed to lose. You guys are supposed to mess up.
I know we're running out of time, but you got to see what happened. I mean, you got Curtis Jones stepping it up in the midfield. You got James Milner. James Milner has played every fucking position. He started at right back. There was an injury on the field. What does he do? He steps into midfield. He steps into midfield. Milner steps into midfield. Nico Williams steps into right back. I mean, Fabinho dropping into center back. Matip was a free from, I believe, Schalke. And he's been sleeping. Everybody slept on the guy. He's fucking phenomenal. He's got his clearances are awesome. He's almost as good as Van Dijk. The only difference is he's a quiet guy. He goes and does his job. He doesn't bring the fucking, fame aurora. But the point is that with Matip, with Fabinho, as long as they can stay safe, I think we could still have a good chance of winning this.
You guys do have a good chance of winning this. The table right now is looking Spurs in first place with 20 points, tied with Liverpool. The goal differential separating you guys. Chelsea and Leicester are tied with 18 points. I mean, the table's still pretty tight up top, honestly. And then we scroll down. Let's scroll down. Up there's Manchester at 10th place. Scroll down a little bit more. Up there's Arsenal at 12th place. Scroll down a little bit more. Oh, and there's Man City in 13th place. All right, cool. I think that pretty much wraps up the table for you guys. With all that being said, guys, that is today's episode. 30 minutes or less. We are the Benchwarmers, the bench with the voice, where the bench is always warm. Peace.